Audrey here, and on the show this week we are looking at scams and life hacks, the negative and the positive. There are loads of life hacks going on, things that make your life a little bit easier. We discussed those on the show, but I thought I'd like to talk about scams, why it's very easy to fall for them and what we can do about it. Now, research has shown that the reasons people fall for scams is because they look very credible. We tend to like people like us, so scammers become very good at deceiving us into thinking that they're very similar. Otherwise, we'd be less likely to approach them. They also tend to take us when we are under time pressure. If we don't have that time to make a decision, we may not actually think about it and we may rush into something. So what tends to happen is if there's a really too good to be true offer, it only lasts for a very short amount of time, which forces you into making a decision very quickly. The other thing scammers do is they are very aware, they're very good psychologists, and they're very aware of our visceral needs. If we have a need for something, it is more likely we're going to go out looking for it, and it's also more likely that if we see a cheaper option for it, because we can then get what we want, we're less likely to question it. So be aware of those things. Also, they are very convincing. There was an experiment a long time ago that Milgram did where he looked at whether people would go so far as to give somebody an electric shock to the point of killing them. Of course, there was no one being killed. It was a stooge. It was a confederate of Milgram's who was being supposedly shocked in a different room. However, the findings that Milgram reported were very interesting. In particular, we tend to be quite obedient to authority. So if someone is going to scam us, they do tend to look like a figure of authority, or their website may be very credible. So again, we need to be very careful when we're dealing with authority. It's really quite difficult because when it comes to talking to a policeman or somebody in uniform, we do tend to trust them immediately. But just be aware that authority does make us less likely to question. Those are the reasons why it's easy to get scammed. We're also going to look at how we can stop ourselves. Unfortunately, there's no quick fix for this. It is a case of just keeping our wits about us the whole time. Even if there is only a short period of time in order to make our decision, take a note from Scarlett O'Hara and think tomorrow is another day, sleep on it and maybe come back to it tomorrow. If the need is still there and the offer is still there, then at least you've had the time to think about it, maybe make some inquiries, read reviews and so on and find out. The main thing to remember is if something looks too good to be true, it usually is. So be aware, keep your wits about you and tune in to Lifestyle MK 12 till 2 on Saturdays or catch us on Mixcloud.